Suspiciously fancy commercial, huh?
Absolutely, yeah.
Right on. Clint Lundy here in the studio from your organization, SkiDUCK. Now, me and you first ran into each other, what was it, in November at that ski movie premiere. You came up to me, you're like, hey man, I got this great organization. And here we are, what is this, 5, 6 months later? How's it going?
Yeah, it's going great. It's going real good.
So for people who maybe don't know what SkiDUCK is, what is it that you do?
Yeah. So the name SkiDUCK is actually an acronym. It stands for Skiing and Snowboarding for Disabled and Underprivileged Children and Older Kids. So basically any child, regardless of their limitation or disability, whether it's physical, cognitive, or in particular our first season or two, financial limitations, we want to make sure those kids have a chance to get up to the mountains to learn to ski and snowboard. So since we ran into each other back in November, we received our nonprofit status approval back in October. And we've been going like gangbusters now to get the word out about SkiDUCK, so thank you for having us here as well. Promoting the organization, we've got over 2,000 fans on Facebook now, which is phenomenal. We've got a lot of local Tahoe athletes like Darren Rawls, Shannon Roberts in Reno, Nate Holland out of Truckee, 5-peat gold at the X Games, and most recently Shannon Barkey ran into her up at the Olympics.
Bronze medalist.
Bronze medalist. A couple of days after she won her medal, and she was like, oh, I've heard about SkiDUCK, tell me more. So she's excited about coming on board as well. So a lot of local Tahoe athletes.
And some incredible athletes as well, and just good people.
Phenomenal. Absolutely. And everybody seems to love the concept of SkiDUCK. So what it is, we're taking kids out, teaching them skiing and snowboarding. We plan on keeping them in the long term as well.
Right on. And so how do you guys work with the resorts, and then where do you get the kids from?
Yeah, so the really cool part is the model. So most people in the ski industry, or if you ski or snowboard a lot, realize that there's a lot of excess capacity, right? They're busy during the holiday weekends, they're busy on Saturdays, but then they're not as busy on Sundays, and especially midweek.
Right, sometimes it's a ghost town out there.
Yeah,
Let's be
exactly.
Honest,
Yep, so our model is to work with the resorts and utilize that excess capacity. So they're generously giving us free lift tickets, free rentals, and free lessons to bring these kids up. And that's a lot to ask.
Yeah, that's
right?
a big thing for the resorts to come out and do that, because they are a business, people got to make money.
Yep, and it was a big ask for me to go to them. But fairly early on, I realized that the resorts are actually happy to do this. They recognize the value of the goodwill in the communities that their customers are coming from, whether they're daily lift ticket purchasers or season pass holders. They're giving back to those communities. And that's in the short term and the long term. But in particular, the long term, they also recognize the value in growing a whole new market segment for the industry. So the industry, for the most part, has been flat for the last couple of decades, right, or several decades.
Yeah.
Even. We had over 600 ski resorts in the U.S. Now it's down to under 500. The industry's been looking for a new market segment, and rather than finding it, SkiDUCK is helping develop it. We're going to bring these kids into the industry at age 7, 8, 10, all the way up through 18, and once we teach them to ski and snowboard, they'll be hooked for life. Not everyone's going to love it and fall in love, but a lot of kids are, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm guilty as charged of getting hooked on it and loving it up here.
Yeah.
So you're a volunteer, obviously nonprofit.
Yep.
So how do people maybe donate their time or their money to you and get more information?
Yeah, so we've got a website up, www.skiduck.org. There's an email address for volunteers to send in, volunteer@skiduck.org, as well as a donate link. We're looking for donations of both, financial as well as in-kind donations. So if someone is at the end of the season, they've got extra kids, goggles, pants, hats, helmets, or gear, equipment, we're happy to receive that as well. Just contact us through the website. We've already got over 100 people around the Lake Tahoe area, North Shore, and some in the South Shore as well, that have signed up for volunteer work.
So, right on.
So the model is that once we get the kids out on the hill, we bring 5 or 6 one volunteer for every 5 or 6 kids, and work with them through the rental process, lunch, and the free ski in the afternoon, and the resorts provide us the lessons.
Well, Clint, we're a little short on time. SkiDUCK.org, the organization. Do us a favor, come back and see us again. We really appreciate what you do here in the community.
Thank you.
Clint Lundy, SkiDUCK.org. We'll be right back with more of our Ascents Tahoe today when we come back.